Hey everyone, this is a book-based video, so if you're looking for me to speak about records, I don't really do that in this video. In the background, we're listening to Fringe Grooves by the Fringe Biology Recordings Company. This is a compilation of krautrock and space rock music. They have a really good sort of explanation of their music here. Just let me read it, just bear with me. Fringe Biology Recordings is a Seattle-based record label of outsider musicians specializing in experimental rock, avant electronic music, sci-fi soundtracks, krautrock, and science music. Direct application of science concepts into music creation. Subcategories include space rock, post-punk, jazz, avant rock, early industrial, black and avant-garde metal, progressive rock, psychedelic cut-ups, soundscapes, pop, and dub. The music is inspired by diverse and esoteric topics such as ancient technology, wave genetics, synthetic and evolutionary biology, urban decay, space travel, science run amok, the films of David Cronenberg, Alejandro Jodorowsky, and David Lynch, Fritz Lang, and the literature of William S. Burroughs, J.G. Ballard, Philip K. Dick, Brian Geisen, and George Louis Borges. This compilation is comprised of 14 tracks from 7 different artists that represent a cross-section of the releases thus far. So anyway, and there's a picture, there's a really interesting picture of the black hole in front of the Milky Way. It looks like a giant eyeball. Isn't that nuts? That's just seriously nuts. But yeah, anyway, and this is the soundtrack. We're on number 4, so this is Demon Zero Highway by Machines for Hire, and it was only released on this compilation. Alright, blah 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 about music. So I pulled a lot of different books today. I just know that there's a lot of people in the vinyl community who also appreciate books as much as I do. I collect a lot of like really old books, literature and stuff. And I did pull a few of those tonight, and mostly for Henry, To the Boy Ellis, and Zeek and Stephan 73, and Dereck, Big Star. I know you guys all really like books, so I'm just sharing some of my books. And I'm going to start off by this pretty old book. This is pretty old. Let me see how old it is here. 1932. So this I got the mail here because I wanted to read. I got a letter put in just to put the space where I wanted to read something to you guys. Music at Night by Aldous Huxley, which is a book of different essays and stuff. And there's a really excellent essay in here called Music at Night about music. And I just wanted to read one little thing about music that he wrote. What is true of painting is equally true of music. Music says things about the world, but in specifically musical terms. Any attempt to reproduce these musical statements in our own words is necessarily doomed to failure. We cannot isolate the truth contained in a piece of music, for it is a beauty truth and inseparable from its part me. The best we can do is indicate in the most general terms the nature of the music beauty truth under consideration, and to refer curious truth seekers to the original. So that's a little comment on criticism or trying to explain music, which I find I have a lot of difficulty doing. I have a hard time like explaining sometimes what music sounds like, because the only way you can really understand what music sounds like is to hear it. You can't say, oh, it's got a driving beat, and I mean that gives you a loose framework. But anyway, this is a pretty interesting book, and yeah, I love these old books because of the old artwork. And you know, they always have like a little catalog that are on the other side. Other books by Aldous Huxley. I love Aldous Huxley so much. He's so good. Music at Night. I've read Antic Hay. Anyway, so there you go. So that's it for this one. Anyway, Music at Night by Aldous Huxley, one of my favorite writers actually. This is a great book. This is a really, really great book by a French writer named Jean Genet. Our Lady of the Flowers is the name of it. Famous underground bestseller. he's got like a really gritty. He was like quite a misfit of society, Jean Genet. He was a little bit of everything. It says on the back: homosexual, criminal, perverse, religious, sacrilegious, voluble, dynamic, schizophrenic. I mean, he had it all going on. But he was an excellent writer, and this is one of his novels, Our Lady of the Flowers, which is really. I remember reading it a long time ago, so I can't really say. A lot of these books actually I read like when I was in high school. Another French writer that's really great is André Gide, and he wrote the book The Immoralist. I love this artwork. Check out the artwork on this. I mean, just like records, I love the artwork on the cover of some novels. You know, it's just killer. It's just awesome. And even on the back, you know, it gives you like a little synopsis. But yeah, André Gide. Another another Aldous Huxley book, Brave New World, really early pressing of the paperback on the Penguin Modern Classics. Imagine 85 cents for this, man. It's crazy. This is a UK version, not to be sold in the USA. It says it right on the back here. It's a copyright edition, is not to be sold in the USA. But I love this old artwork too. I mean, it's just incredible, isn't it? Like, it's just so neat, so neat. And this is from. See, a lot of people frown upon books that have, like, you know, people's personal notes in it, but I really find it fascinating. I love seeing what people thought as they're reading or studying this in university, you know. And this is studied in university here in St. John. But this particular edition is from 1932, so that's crazy. 1932. Man. So there's the back, Aldous Huxley. Another really, actually a lot of these are French writers, eh? But this is an amazing French existentialist philosopher named Jean-Paul Sartre. This is The Age of Reason, another Penguin paperback with the Picasso art on the front and the back. Really cool stuff. I do believe this one here, is it a novel? Yeah, it is a novel. See, it's been so long since I read this, but yeah, the cover shows Guernica. This is $1.50 in Canada, and it's from the year. Let's see here. It's from the year 1961. Ah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. One of my favorite writers of all time is Hermann Hesse, and this is probably one of my favorite books of his, and it's been everywhere with me. I took it to Thailand a while back, like, well, quite a while, like in early 2000s, and it's just a constant book that I read it quite often. Hermann Hesse has a really sort of, he has an approach to writing really deep and philosophical ideas in a way in which anybody could understand, you know, or read easily. It's not heavy reading, you know, but the ideas are pretty heavy that he presents. And this is arguably one of his best books. Demian, man, is just an incredible book. And there's the back. Again, with the artwork, I mean, geez. Imagine a record with that on the cover. It would just be killer, man. Now we're heading to some American poetry. One of my favorite book companies throughout the 60s, and I don't know if they're still making books, but it's New Directions. It's this New Directions paperback book. And this is one of my favorite poets. If you don't know about this fella, I'm sure you do, Chris Astral Traveler, but and that's another person this video is for. Kenneth Patchen selected poems. Just incredible stuff. Just, man. And this was released, let's see, 1957. So Kenneth Patchen's selected poems, really angular, angst-ridden sort of. I don't know. I can't quite explain it. A lot of it's concrete. It's like all about the imagery and stuff. Like, here's one of his poems called "A pile of rusty beer cans," you know, and Here, what I'll do is here, I'll put this here, and you can pause it if you want and read it. Try to hold it as still as I can. All right. So yeah, there's Kenneth Patchen, a writer that for me is really difficult to sort of immerse myself into his ideas and the way he writes. But I try. I read this book years ago also, but Thomas Pynchon, The Crying of Lot 49, another amazing cover for artwork. I mean, geez. Kerouac's not The Big Sur, but Big Sur. This is an early copy of this. I do believe it's a UK copy too. This was released in '62. Is this a... Anyway, oh, there's Charlie. Back at her. Not too much for artwork on this one. This one, though, on the other hand, Dr. Sax by Jack Kerouac has amazing artwork. Just great, great stuff. He's a really interesting writer. People either love him or hate him, you know. And I have a love-hate relationship with Jack Kerouac, actually. Surprisingly, and I don't know, it may come to a bit of a surprise. Like his most famous novel, I didn't really get at first, and I don't really find it's his strongest novel, actually. But anyway, it's On the Road. I just had a hard time with it. The Buck Book, Musings on Charles Bukowski. This is a really cool book. It's about just a close friend of Charles Bukowski, and he writes a book about all the different things that he's done. Like that's not too X-rated, but there he is, up to his old tricks. This guy lives his writing, which is amazing, actually. Another book written by a man's best friend. This guy is Max Brod, and he was really good friends lifelong friends with Franz Kafka, who is a fascinating individual in literature. He wrote The Metamorphosis and The Trial and many others, but this is a biography. This is kind of rare to come by, actually. I have never seen it before. This is the 1963 edition, so there he is. Isn't he wild looking? That's crazy. What are you doing, Charlie? Come on. Sadly, this guy is no longer with us. He should be, but he's not. He suffered from extreme depression and took his own life. And it was a shock. It was a shock to the literary world. But it was David Foster Wallace, Brief Interviews with Hideous Men. I highly recommend this to anybody who wants to read any book. That narrows it down, eh? But this is just an incredibly creative and innovative writer. Just has to be read to be like experienced, obviously. But yeah, really cool stuff, man. I'm going to show you one of the older books that I pulled today. This may be of interest to you, Henry, because I know you're interested in the macabre, and you, Astral Traveler, Chris. But this is a book called Devils, Drugs, and Doctors. I don't think it's altogether rare, but it has some amazing wood plates in it, and it's about the early medical, the way they did medical procedures and stuff in the early days, you know, and how a lot of it was exorcism, hence devils, and you know, and burning, you know, the Black Plague, the people of the Black Plague, you know. I'll just show a few of the what's this? The executioner is here shown tightening the lever of the thumb screw. This is how they used to execute people. Possibly, oh god, that looks painful. Yeah, people were cruel. Even, like, I know people think people are cruel now, but they were really cruel back then too, you know. Torture and execution of the plague spreaders, like the Black Plague, and I don't know what's going on over here. The Plague Doctor. Is this some really serious There's a whole section in here on shamanism and medieval, you know, it's just a really interesting book. Yeah, medieval medical practices and whatnot. It's just incredible. Perkins metallic tractors. I don't know what this is actually, which is the case maybe. Anyway, there's like 16th century amputation. It's a really neat book. I got it for a great price too. I love this about books too. Oh, you look at that. That's really cool. Because I said, Henry, this is for you. You know, like I think you'd be interested. Look what's at the very bottom, Henry. Isn't that nuts? And then like someone gave it to somebody for Christmas in 1934. It's just nuts. Just fucking great. There's a whole different, just as there is in records, there's a whole world in books, man. Here's another old one. This is, I paid $4 for this a while back. Well, it's a novel by Jean-Paul Sartre called Iron in the Soul. Jean-Paul Sartre, Iron in the Soul. Pretty cool stuff. How are we at? Oh, 16 minutes. I don't know. Hopefully you guys watch this. Only book lovers will watch it anyway, so I don't feel so bad about having a long video. But here is Thomas de Quincey's Confessions of an English Opium Eater and Other Writings. Essential stuff to read. Early observations on drug use, basically. Like, you know, before they knew opium was even harmful, you know. Really old book. Well, not old as in the old other ones, but Routines by Lawrence Ferlinghetti with really neat pen and ink illustrations. This one here is interesting. It says Bartley Turner Christopher Robinson lent to Harold Channing May 17th, or they weren't sure what day it was. Maybe they were really stoned. Was it the 17th? Was it the 18th? I don't know. It's pretty neat though. I got this for $2. I'll just show a couple more of the illustrations that are in this because they're just really neat. Just really cool stuff. This is kind of like a I don't know. There's a little bit of like everything in this book. There's like short stories, and then there's plays, kind of thing, like snippets of plays. There's another illustration. Very bizarre. But yeah, Lawrence Ferlinghetti, one of my favorite writers from the Beat Generation, who formed the City Lights bookstore. Another book on the Black Sparrow Press by Charles Bukowski, Hot Water Music. I think a band called themselves, I think I have a record actually by them, Hot Water Music. But this is basically just short stories and stuff. So pretty cool. I just picked this up not too long ago. Oh yeah, and I wanted to show this one specifically for who was it? Oh, it was Chris, Astral Traveler, who showed Antonin Artaud. This is I got this at a library book sale kind of thing. Really nice intro by Susan Sontag. This is Antonin Artaud, Selected Writings. He formed what was called the Theater of Cruelty, which was meant to bang people over the senses with reality of what was going on in the day through surrealism and just oversensing the senses, basically, overstimulating the senses. And this is just a great book. It's just chock full of like observations, poetry, plays, screenplays even. It's just, it's incredible. It's really, he was really quite a character actually. This is him acting in a play. I forget the name of it, but really cool stuff. Another Kafka, Complete Stories and Parables. Really cool stuff. I've got this cheap too. I love it when you flip through a book and you find stuff. But I didn't pay that much for this, so I just paid like, I paid $4. There it is. So, And just 2 more books, guys, so I'm almost at 20 minutes. That's not too bad. I know Astral Traveler, Chris Astral Traveler, you showed some art books, and I was really, really happy to see those. The Goya book that you have is just made my mouth salivate. This guy is a really interesting illustration guy. He did illustrations for newspapers, but he did a lot of like personal illustrations too. His name was Fons van Workum. Fons van Workum. It's called Face to Face. I'm a huge fan of pen and ink artwork, and this guy took the cake. Like he takes the cake as far as like really wonderfully surreal, detailed, and very political too. Actually, very political. Let's see here, like death as precept, you know, things like that. Some of them are a little risky, but like I'll show a couple of them, you know, whatever. Someone. Kind of really neat stuff. Look at this strange one. This snail. Really cool stuff. I'll just show. Some of it's a little overly erotic. I'm gonna show one just quick. Here we go. All right, so. And the last book I'm gonna feature is a more recent book, but it is probably one of the funniest books I've ever read. It is ridiculously funny. It's by the writer David Sedaris, Me Talk Pretty One Day, author of Naked also. This is a friggin' hilarious book, man. There's a short story in here called You Can't Kill the Rooster, and oh my god, I highly recommend everybody check it out. It's funny. It's about his father and how David Sedaris' brother and his father would just get drunk and bond, and it's just funny. The characterizations that he makes is it's hilarious. So there you go. There's some books. I'm sorry it's a little long, 22 minutes. I'm gonna stop now. Thanks a lot for watching, and I look forward to seeing more books. Please share more books. Just you know, I know it's the vinyl community, but just like you know, like Dereck does, just kind of, you know, just say books, not records or whatever, and that way people won't get pissed or whatever. But all right, thanks for watching.